New names. A new life. New routines. But most importantly, a new family. Several weeks had passed. Mary, Mayhin, and Marin had completely settled into their new home. The sound of little footsteps echoing through the villa's hallways, endless laughter, and countless questions had become the daily melody of the house. The large home that had once been filled with silence was now filled with life. One morning during breakfast, Aitan looked at the girls and smiled. The sweet scent of jam filled the table while steam rose from freshly brewed tea. Mary had spread far too much honey on her bread, and Marin had managed to create a little milk mustache. Aitan couldn't hold back her laughter. Then she spoke gently. "Girls, what do you think about going to the seaside together this weekend?" For a moment, there was silence. Then Mary jumped from her chair. "The sea?" Her eyes sparkled. "I've never seen the sea before." Mayhin looked at her in surprise. "Really?" Mary nodded. Marin immediately began clapping excitedly. "I'm going to build a sandcastle." Martin smiled as he placed his coffee cup down. Then it settled. He winked at the girls. "This weekend, you're going to have a day you'll never forget on the shores of the Caspian Sea." The excitement of morning. When the weekend finally arrived, the house woke up much earlier than usual. In fact, it seemed as though the children had barely slept at all. Before sunrise, Mary ran straight into Aitan's room. "Mom, are we late?" Laughing, Aitan picked her up. "The sun has only just come up, sweetheart." But inside, she thought, a child's excitement is such a beautiful thing. Preparations began. Aitan filled a picnic basket with care. Fresh fruit, homemade pastries, sandwiches, and the girls' favorite chocolate cake. Meanwhile, Martin prepared the car outside. A little while later, he returned carrying a bundle of colorful balloons. The girls screamed with excitement and ran toward him. "Dad!" Martin laughed and knelt down. "These are for my princesses." Then he pulled 3 small ice creams from a cooler bag. Marin stared in disbelief. "Are all of these really ours?" "Of course they are." The journey. The laughter never stopped during the drive. Mary gazed out the window, excitedly commenting on everything she saw. Mayhin felt more relaxed than ever before. And Marin held her balloon tightly, as though letting go would make everything disappear. Aitan turned around and watched them. And in that moment, she felt the missing pieces inside her finally becoming whole. By the shore, when they arrived at the coast near Baku, the deep blue water sparkled beneath the sunlight. Seagulls glided through the sky, and the salty scent of the sea drifted through the breeze. For several seconds, the girls simply stared, as if they couldn't believe what they were seeing. Mary whispered softly, "I didn't know it was this big." Martin smiled. "Some beauties cannot be explained. They have to be seen." Suddenly, all 3 girls took off running. Their shoes sank into the sand while their laughter spread across the shore. As Aitan watched them, her eyes filled with tears. Because at that moment, the life she had always dreamed of was right in front of her. Little joys. Aitan showed the girls how to build sandcastles. Marin kept accidentally knocking them down and then laughing at herself. Mayhin was playing without shyness for the first time. And Mary worked with complete seriousness. "Our castle is going to be huge." A short distance away, Martin stood taking photographs. At one point, he lowered the camera and simply watched. Perhaps for the first time in his life, he truly felt what it meant to have a family, happiness captured in one frame. Martin gathered everyone together. "All right, smile." All 3 girls hugged Aitan at the same time. The picture was taken. But inside that single photograph, there was more than a family. There was a miracle. Sunset. By late afternoon, the sky had turned shades of orange and pink. The sea had grown calm. Everyone was tired, but happy. They sat together along the shore. Mary quietly snuggled into Aitan's lap. She rested her head on her shoulder. Then softly said, "Mom." "Yes, sweetheart." Today, I'm really happy. Aitan closed her eyes. She held her a little tighter. Then whispered, "Me too. I'm very happy too." Mutton watched them quietly, then looked up at the sky. Perhaps for the first time in many years. The prayer in his heart finally felt complete. Some families are formed by blood. Others are formed by love. And sometimes, during a sunset, a child saying "I'm happy" can heal every wound inside a mother's heart. The years had passed like flowing water. Mary was now 8 years old. Mayhin had turned 7. And little Marin was already 6. The frightened little girls who once clung to each other in fear now ran through the house laughing, making a mess of their rooms, arguing one moment and making up the next. The villa was still as warm and welcoming as ever. But now it was filled with new sounds. The rustling of notebook pages. The opening and closing of pencil cases. The familiar scent of brand new books. And best of all, "Mom, can you help me with my homework?" A new morning. It was a cool but sunny September morning in Baku. Sunlight streamed through the kitchen windows, sparkling against the glasses of milk on the breakfast table. Aitan had been awake since early morning. The kitchen was busy, but filled with happiness. Toast was being prepared. School bags were being checked. Lunchboxes were carefully packed one by one. Meanwhile, Mutton was in the living room trying to fix the girls' hair. Unfortunately, he wasn't particularly talented at it. Marin looked into the mirror and frowned. "Dad, my ribbon is crooked." Mutton examined it seriously. "No, sweetheart. That's fashion." The girls immediately burst into laughter. Marin crossed her arms. "I don't want fashion." Laughing, Mutton fixed the ribbon. All right. But you're so beautiful that even a crooked ribbon looks perfect on you." Marin instantly smiled. As Aitan watched from the kitchen, her heart filled with love. The house that had once been exhausted by silence was now alive with joy. The excitement of the first day. Today was the girls' first day at their new school. And because of that, it wasn't only the children who were excited. Aitan and Mutton were too. Shoelaces were tied. Backpacks were strapped on. The 3 girls stood side by side near the front door. Aitan paused for a moment to look at them. Then she knelt beside them. Gently brushing their hair back, she spoke softly. "Today is the beginning of a new adventure for you." The girls listened carefully. "You'll learn new things. You'll make new friends." She paused. But most importantly, she smiled. Never stop being kind-hearted people. At the school gates. When they arrived at the school, the courtyard was full of children's voices. Children running everywhere. Excited parents. The scent of brand new backpacks. The entire place buzzed with joyful energy. Mary stared around with wide eyes. Mayhin quietly held Aitan's hand. Meanwhile, Marin seemed to have endless questions. "Mom, how many classrooms are there? Dad, do teachers sleep here? Will I grow up today?" Mutton laughed so hard he could barely answer. Soon the teachers arrived to guide the children to their classrooms. Within minutes, Mary was already chatting with another girl. "My name is Mary." Her energy seemed to brighten the room. Mayhin stayed a little farther back. She was still shy. But when her teacher gently took her hand, she offered a small smile. Marin, meanwhile, was circling around her teacher. "Why does the bell ring? Are we going to play games today? Can I sit by the window?" The teacher couldn't help laughing. A mother's quiet pride. After the children entered their classrooms, Aitan continued watching through the window. Mary's excitement. Mayhin's shy smile. Marin's endless energy. She absorbed every moment. And suddenly, her eyes filled with tears. Because the frightened children she had once met on the streets were now walking confidently toward their future. Mutton quietly stepped beside her. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Then spoke softly. "We did something good, Aitan." Without taking her eyes off the children, Aitan smiled. Yes. Her voice trembled. We did something very good. Returning home. When evening arrived, the house once again filled with cheerful noise. All three girls were talking at the same time. I made a new friend. My teacher gave me a gold star. I fell during recess, but I didn't cry. Mutton laughed and held up both hands. One at a time, one at a time. From the kitchen, Aitan watched them. A peaceful smile rested on her face. Because now she knew. This house was more than just a home. Hope was growing here. Sometimes a school bag carries more than books. Sometimes it carries an entirely new life. And a mother's greatest happiness is seeing her children grow up. Not with fear, but with confidence and trust.
If you're curious about the continuation of this story, you can support me by subscribing to my channel. Liking the video and sharing your thoughts in the comments greatly helps my stories reach more people.